Alright, hey, it's Mick here. So I'm making a video vlog about a little project I got going on here. So I'm making some Supermoto sliders for this dude that I worked on his bike. And so yeah, I'm trying to get these to fit on a Sur Ron, alright? So he pretty much has the same Sur Ron as I do, alright? 2018 Sur Ron Light Bee MX. And he wants me to install these sliders, alright? So this is what they look like, alright? I've got 4 of them. If you ask me, they're kind of more bling bling than functional. It's okay. Sliders, typically you want them made out of plastic or delrin, alright, like nylons, like a really strong plastic that slides. The purpose of sliders is to, well, it's exactly what they're called, sliders. They allow your bike to slide instead of like cartwheeling and, you know, doing the yard sale thing. Alright, and it also protects the surface from damage, alright? So these are made out of aluminum. Definitely they're made out of aluminum. And like, you know, this is kind of like our typical kind of slider, I guess. So he wants to use these as axle sliders, okay? And the way they work is you just unscrew this part here, okay? So this is your puck right here. This is a slider puck. So if you damage this part, all you have to do is replace this, okay? I don't know if they sell replacements. I'm not really sure where you got these. I'm sure you can find them on eBay. I'll see if I can find them on eBay and tell you where something similar is, okay? They're pretty nice. It's definitely for like a bigger bike, okay? It's like a 450 or 250 or something, all right? So there's this little carbon fiber sleeve thing over it. Is it real carbon? Yeah, it is real carbon fiber. Yeah. And then I guess you could not put it on if you don't want that carbon fiber look to it, okay? Or maybe not, it's not closing. Oh, there we go. Okay. I'm sure this is one of those made in China specials, okay? It's kind of weird, there's like something in the threads. These Mega's already messing them up. Yeah, there's like some burrs in it. Okay, but yeah, so it's like in a sense it's 2-piece, but it's 3 pieces, alright? So it has this kind of dress up carbon fiber part to it, alright? It goes right here. Okay, and then, so you would unscrew this, and then you would bolt this onto your axle, or wherever you're going to put it on, okay? So, Hades Omega is going to make a foot peg slider, or not a foot peg, Hades Omega is going to make a axle slider very similar to what I got for my Sur Ron. Like Hades Omega uses the skateboard wheels, but we're going to adapt it to fit this. All right, so I've already kind of done it, so I'm going to kind of talk you through it, and I just have to make the axle part for it. Okay, so the RST axle has this hollow section. All right, so this is the RST kilo fork, the one that we all love, right? So there's a hollow section. It's a hollow axle, and you can put the rod right through it. Okay, I'm not really sure what size rod this was. Okay, so this is a 5/16 threaded rod. All right, or they call it all thread, I guess. So you can easily find these at Home Depot, a hardware store. Okay, so this is the one for my bike. So we're gonna try to adapt. Well, we're gonna make one. All right, but I've used this for test fitting, and so yeah, this is why it's a vlog. I'm gonna show you how I made it. So yeah, it goes through the axle. The 5/16 threaded rod goes through the axle pretty good. It's a good fit in there. Okay, so we're going to use this. All right, and then so what I've done is since the hole is so big. Okay, so see how much bigger the hole is compared to that. Yeah, it'll just go straight through it. What we're using is a washer, okay, to make the size of the hole smaller. All right, so this will work. So what I've done is, what I might do is get a 5/16 washer like this, a fender washer, and then machine it down so it fits in there perfectly, so you don't have to whatchamacallit, it's almost perfect fit. Yeah, it is almost perfect. So what I'm gonna, Hades Omega is gonna do is make this a little bit smaller through, like, just grind it so this fits in that hole, okay? And then it'll be a better fit, because this fits in there perfectly, all right, this flat washer, but this is the right size right here. I think this is like a 3/8. This is probably a 5/16 right here, okay? So that's what I got in there. Basically, it's the flat washer, and then it's a flat washer, but the hole's too big. So if you put this in there, it'll work, but there'll be a lot of play, okay? So this kind of takes out some of that play, okay? And then and it helps distribute the load better. And then so we're gonna put this rod through this, okay? Okay, then we're gonna put it through the axle. I'll do it through the other side. Okay, and the good thing about this is Hades Omega's little axle slider system, I have to use a little kind of rubber kind of spacer to help it stick out a little bit. These already have the spacer built into it, so it's actually pretty nice, okay? So we're going to put the washer in there, and then the 5/16 washer. Let me put this on here. Put this on here. I'm trying to do this one-handed. Okay, and then what we're going to do next is we're going to get a nut. Alright, so I just got this nut for test fitting purposes, alright. As you can see, the rod is way too long. The reason the rod is too long is because we, Hades Omega used like skateboard wheels, so we were, where it mounts on the inside here, okay, that's where it presses on. For the skateboard wheels, it does it much farther outwards, okay. So this is actually nicer than mine because you don't have this nut in the center that could gouge up the racing surface, is what I'm gonna say, okay. So we're just gonna thread this guy on here. Fit yesterday, come on, there we go. Okay, and we're gonna screw it on there. So right now it's too long. This will work, okay. This is the prototype phase, okay. Okay, we're making our way to the final product, okay. As you can see, the rod is way too long, okay. But there we go. Let's just do a hand tight, all right. In the final version, I will be using a locking nuts, okay. So it won't vibrate loose. Okay, right? Then all you got to do next is put the pucks on, all right. So there's this. Okay. And we'll do the other side. Okay, so this is actually a little bit nicer. I honestly, they look kind of goofy. I don't like the way they look, but they look a little too bulky. but like yeah. So there's nothing protruding from the center. All right, this is protruding, but I'm gonna make a shorter one of this later, just for this one. Okay, it's gonna be a custom-made dealie, but it should be very easy to make. Probably not even like $5 in material to get these to fit for the RC Ford. Okay, so so the dude's bike has the stronger RST axle from Lunicycle, and it will not work with that. All right, I'll tell you that now. The green axle, it won't work with that axle because there's no hole on the plug. Okay, you could try to drill a hole in the plug, but you'd have to drill it dead center. You know, you'd have to have it like perfect. Okay, so I don't recommend using that modified axle. Hades Omega has never had a problem with the stock RST axle. Okay, I don't know how people are breaking them, man. User error, right? But anyway, there it is. It's pretty much, that's the prototype or the test fit stage. All right. Oh yeah, it doesn't fit all the way flush. What's going on? There is a little bit of room for. No, it's fine. There's a little bit of room for thing. That's what I was saying. Yeah, it's a little crooked. It doesn't fit totally flat on this. What we could do is we could add a washer inside there. Another washer that fits in here to space this out a little bit. It looks like it's touching the relief for the axle a little bit. The other side seems to be flat though, so I don't know. But that looks pretty good right there, right? It's probably not perfect, but it looks good, okay? And then when you want to take it out again, you just unscrew this, or the whole thing comes out. like it just did right now. Or you could do that. If you have a long enough socket, you could do that. But okay, so I guess you don't even have to take the buck out. It's got this big old hollow hole in it, okay? So whether these, how good these though, I would not really use these for the track. If you're just gonna ride around the street with them, it's okay, but for the racetrack, I think they're gonna want like plastic ones, okay? There's not to say that aluminum wouldn't work, you know, but okay, so that's the plan. All right, as you can see, it works quite well. At least it works for the front. The back, we'll have to find out if that works, okay? But there it is. That's pretty much the most of it. So what Hades Mega is going to do is I'm gonna shorten this rod to the perfect size so it doesn't stick out the other end, right? And then that's pretty much it. And then we're going to add a locking nut and we're going to turn down a washer a tiny bit so it fits in there perfectly. Okay, so there you go. So that's a front slider modification. All right, just to get these to fit. All right, and it looks like it'll work. All right. Alright, Hades Mega here. So this is a little continuation of the little Supermoto slider project I got going on here. So to get this guy to fit, I needed to make this washer the size of this washer, alright? But I need the inner diameter to be smaller, alright, to fit this all thread better, okay? This has a lot of play in it if I use that. So, and this is the perfect size to fit through the RST axle slider, okay, or the axles. So I did one on already. All right, I completed it. There it is. It's right in there. Okay, it's like a pretty tight fit, which is good. That's what you want. So basically, it reduces the size of that hole. Okay. So here's the little comparison. All right. So what I did is I took this one and I put it in the middle as best as I could. Okay, and then I scribed it with a permanent marker, and then I just knew you got to grind all the black off. Okay, so grind to the black and grind all the black off, and eventually it'll look like this. All right, it doesn't have to be perfectly in the center. All right, it could be off a little bit. Well, I don't know, it should kind of be perfectly in the center because there's not a whole lot of room to work with on that axle. It has to be like perfectly in the center. If anything, I can undersize it a little bit so it has just a little bit of play, so you can move it around a little bit. So maybe we'll wind up doing that because as you can see, it's not perfectly in the center. Well, but you know, it'll kind of make it go oval. You just want to get it, rotate this so it doesn't interfere with the fork. Okay. All right. So like I said, the beauty of this thing is it already has the spacer on it. We don't have to add the spacer like the skateboard wheels. Okay. So I'm just gonna. So how I made this. All right. Was I grinded it with my bench grinder, okay? That guy over there, and I just held it with the pliers, and I just went to town on it, all right? And then after that, we'll cut the all thread down to the proper size, and then we'll be done, okay? And then I have I have a cap nut here, and then I have a locking nut right here, okay? Yeah, I can't have this thing hella long, so we need to be able to fit a what's that word? A socket through that, okay? So, but that should do it. Ideally, the better thing to do would be to get a really long bolt, okay? Get a bolt about like yay long, right, to go through the axle. But I think it's cheaper just to do it this way, okay? And then I wouldn't need to get some funky bolt at Home Depot or something, okay? Basically, what's what we're doing with this? We're making a bolt, a special bolt with this. Should be good. It doesn't matter. It's all going to be hidden inside the slider anyways, okay? All right, so I'll just go finish this one, and then we'll cut that down the size, and hopefully we'll have a front Supermoto slider. Then I got to work on the back one. All right, let's big out. Okay, I've done it. I've turned it down where it'll fit in there perfectly, okay? Maybe a little too perfectly. Okay, but yeah, it's in there. Cool deal. And if I want to make it even stronger, I could just add that washer to it too. Okay, but I think one washer will be fine. This dude is not like a hardcore racer. I don't know, man. He just wants it for the looks. All right, so so the next thing we got to do is we're gonna cut this down to size. All right, Okay, I got it mocked up with the full size. Yeah, with the 5/16 all thread here. All right, so all I got to do is move this up all the way and make sure it's in there. All right, then it'll give us an idea. There you go. How to fit it? I would say like right here. Okay, so I'm gonna mark it like inside just a little bit, just a teeny tiny bit. All right, it's okay if it sticks out a little bit on the other end. Well, I don't know, it's not gonna stick out at all on the other end, so yeah, you figure. Okay, how about we well, I will mark it where it goes to like right here. Okay, you want a little bit to stick out, so it's easier to get the nut in there. Okay, all right, as we go. Okay, I've gone and marked where we need to cut. We're gonna cut right here. Okay, and we got to make sure that the bolt can the nut can still be threaded on, and then we're gonna use this guy right here to cut it. Okay, piece of cake. Okay, there it is. I just test fitted the bolt in there. It fit okay. All right, a little resistance getting on there, but we're good to go. Okay. So I cut it here. Boy, this stuff is really soft. It cut through that like butter, man. And then I had to change the cutting wheel too. The cutting wheel was getting too small. And then I used this tool to clean up the burrs and everything, so this guy would fit on nicely. All right. I use the bench grinder too a little bit. Okay, so yeah, let's go see if these fit. So hold on. So this is how this puppy's gonna work. All right. The Hayes Mega Spec Supermoto slider system, all right, for RST forks. So here I got, this is the one of the sides, all right, front of the bases, and then we've got the reduction washer in there, okay, and then this is our like a cap nut, I think is what it's called. All right. All right, now we've got our all thread right there, okay. So this is going to thread onto this, okay, and it'll only go so far, okay. I'm going to take this part out, okay. We're going to thread it through here, all right, and we're going to thread it through the axle, and it'll come out the other end, all right. Put this in there. Boom, holy moly, oops. Oh, don't drop it. Okay, and so you gotta somehow find a way to keep the bike, keep it from falling. Well, you know what, it'd be better to do it the other direction. Do it the other direction, because it's on the side stand right now, it's wanting to lean the other way. So we're gonna put it through this way instead, all right? And then we're gonna put the other end on. All right, and that way it won't fall off all the time. And then I'm going to screw the other end in. Okay. And one side should be a 13 millimeter, and the other side should be a 14 millimeter. So it's kind of in there. That's why I wanted to make. That's why I wanted to make this freaking threaded rod a little longer than it should be, so it's easier to get it in there. But like it's kind of in there. It's kind of hard to get in there. It's kind of pissing me off. I guess what I could do is hold it in this way, okay, and then spin it on this way like a bolt. Okay, it's working. All right, then I just tighten both sides until it's tight. Until it's tight. Okay, and that's it. It's okay, I got the pucks right here. All you gotta do is screw the pucks in. They look like they're way too freaking big for this bike, man. This looks kind of ridiculous on this bike, man. In my opinion, the skateboard wheels look better. But I mean, hey, they serve the same purpose, right? Okay, and you want to make sure those are good and tight so they don't accidentally fall off while you're riding. But there you go. That's the Hayes Mega Spec Supermoto aluminum Supermoto slider kit. You know, I think it looks okay. I just think it looks a little too beefy for this bike, man. Yeah. Okay, so it just kind of makes it a pain in the ass to take off. But, yeah, so there it is. Alright, so the front project is done. I think it looks okay. If I had a little more orange, like I guess it matches the ASI controller. The ASI controller is orange. It's like a burnt orange color. But yeah, I think if you dumped your bike, that would probably protect it. Protect the fork from getting scratched and protect the surface from getting gouged up. Okay, so let me show you how to take it off. Let me show you how to take them off. Yeah, so if you want to take the wheel out from now on, you're going to have to take all this stuff out. So you would unscrew this. Okay. In fact, I wonder if you can do it without unscrewing it. Let me see. Okay, if you wanted to make it easier, you could take the puck off, all right? But I don't think you have to take the puck off. But it definitely makes it easier. I think installing it makes it easier. Okay, and then now we're just going to unscrew it from the other side. Okay, and then one of the sides should start coming off. Probably this side. Okay, so the other nut came off, okay? You just want to make sure that's in there really good, guys. Okay, and then that's it. So it was definitely a lot easier removing it. Okay, but that's how it works. Alright. Pretty cool. And this would just go on the other side like so. So that's pretty much it without it on the axle. It's just sandwiching the axle, that's all it is. Okay. Alright, there we go. This side is done. Cool deal. Alright, now I gotta go work on the back. Alright, here we go.